At Easter, we celebrate a Christian holiday of Jesus being crucified on the cross and then rising again. And I thought today we can do something a little bit more along that theme. So today I'm going to teach you a printing method. It's a relief printing method and it's called a collagraph. So we're going to take different textured cardboards and layer them to create a little scene of the three crosses. So first we're going to tear up the little bits of cardboard. We're going to glue them on to a nice big thick piece of cardboard that's not going to bend easily. We're going to glue them and we're going to make the little mound where the crosses will join to it. And then I'm going to take just a thinner cardboard that's made from a cereal box, and I'm going to stick them at like radiating light that's coming from the center cross, which would be the cross that Jesus was on. And then I cut strips of paper and I glued them on and made little crosses. So one long one and then two little short ones for either side of the crosses. And then I let them dry really well out in the sun so they're not going to move anywhere. I think it turned out quite lovely. I quite like it just like that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a rubbing. And this is taking a piece of clean paper, putting on the top, taking a crayon and just rubbing it using the side of the crayon and rubbing it over the whole thing. And it makes a lovely little relief print from it. So you can see all the different textures from the cardboards coming through. So if I had to use a smoother cardboard for the background instead of doing that rougher piece of cardboard, it would have probably made a better picture. So think about it before you actually make your Collagraph and make a few of them, because we're going to use paint next and we're going to cover the entire thing and it'll never be the same again. So I've used black paint here. This is acrylic paint and I've watered it down quite a bit. Not too much. It mustn't be too watery like water paint, but it must be enough that it's a bit tacky, and you just paint over the entire thing, so it's all covered. Don't have to go into every single gap. You can see I've actually took a damp cloth and I rubbed out the crosses there just to make them a bit brighter. And then I've laid just a plain piece of printing paper over the top. Not too thick, because if the paper's too thick, it's not going to go into all the creases. And I've pulled it off and it made a print. Now that one didn't turn out so great, so I tried again. I think I didn't have enough paint on it. And I watered down the paint a little bit more. I think it just needed sort of like a basing. You know, when you make pancakes and the first one's not as great, well, it's kind of the same. I've done again. I've covered the entire thing. Got to do this quickly. If it's really hot outside, it dries too quickly. So make sure that your paint is wet enough to go on, but not too wet that it absorbs into all the cardboard. So let's go again. And on top, give it a good rub all the edges, making sure that you've rubbed around all the crosses, because that's the main part. And boom! It came out so well. I'm really happy with that one. I'm going to do another one, because after this we can do like as many as you want, because it's printing. Printmaking was designed so that you don't have to do all the hard work. They designed it so that they could print books and images multiple times, so you didn't have to actually paint them. Before that, they used to paint Bibles and books and write Bibles and books by hand to copy them. So then they invented printmaking, and this was one of the techniques they used for drawings to illustrate things. So you can see here I've put on another layer of paint and a rub, and off it comes. Oh, and that one came out really well. I'm very happy with that one. Now you could use any different color paint. You could even paint the background a different color, and that would be good too. But I like it, like I'm using it as kind of like a photocopy here. And I've decided to use some watercolor paints to brighten it up a little. So I've just painted the crosses red and the base green and some nice rays of light coming out. And I really love that. That worked really well. So I hope you have lots of fun making these. You can make any scene. This is just a great one for Easter. Why don't you make a couple of cards and you can pop them in the mailbox and send them to your family and friends, especially while everyone's in isolation. Have a lovely and blessed Easter. Lots of love, Tammy.